This is going to be the most complicated game plan that you will see all week, and it's probably the one that's going to have the greatest impact on how you wrap up this year, get prepared for 2026. Let's get into the game plan for business. Here's the thing that we want to understand, and you've done this a couple of different times. You've seen it happen. We have a primary business goal, an objective, something that we want to drive forward for the business. We got to make sure we understand what that is. It could be profit. It could be whatever. It could be sales. What is our primary business goal? It could be growth. Just come up with your number, whatever that thing is. Make sure it's smart, specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-bound. All right. Number one, our goal. We talked about this on a other video around building out your business operating system. We want to know the functional areas of the business. So let's just say for purposes of this, we've got operations, we've got marketing, we've got sales, we have success, we have product, we have engineering, and then we have, well, let's just call them our admin functions. So I'm going to make that a big number, but this is going to be admin type functions. All right. Each one of those individual functional areas of the business should have a direct line to the goals and objectives of the business. We need to understand exactly how they relate specifically to driving that number, whatever that number is. Let's make sure we've got the functional areas of the business built out, okay? Once we do that, then take the individual segment. And we've talked about sales a number of different times over the course of the week. Let's focus on success here. Let's understand what our specific objectives are for our success team. And I want to have goal, a primary goal, which is the business one. And then I want to have mini goals associated with that success team, whatever that thing is. Now, in this instance, let's plan this based on the idea that success is responsible for growth inside our existing customer base, okay? So we've got a segmented organization where sales is responsible for initial customer acquisition, success is responsible for retention and expansion. And if you've seen the Dare to Grow model, you'll understand what I'm talking about there from a modeling perspective. If you have questions about it, just hit me up. So success has some goals. One goal might be a specific renewal goal, and that might be a percentage, okay? So let's just say they've got a renewal percentage goal. Then let's say that they've got a growth goal. So growth, that might be new add-on business that happens as a part of the relationship. So they've got a renewal goal, they've got a growth goal, new or renewal and add-on, and then maybe they've got an adoption goal, depending on what it is, or some kind of other success metric, whatever the metric is. But now we've got three distinct goals that ultimately drive the broader business goal. This sounds super obvious, but I can tell you based on the number of organizations that I've had an opportunity to work with over the 10 years of operating this business, this is the simple stuff is not necessarily applied. Common sense is not common sense anymore, I think is what they start to say. So anyway, renewal goal, growth goal, adoption goal. Small goals that align directly with the broader business goal. That's the key piece. Then you start to break down and say, okay, what's going to happen from a growth perspective? What's our strategy to drive growth? If you're familiar with the Dare to Grow model, I use expansion as a way to drive renewals, because expanding accounts, spoiler alert, typically are renewing. All right. So if we focus on expansion, then our customers should renew. And here's the other thing. If we do the things we need to do from an adoption or onboarding perspective, shrink up the time to impact when it comes to onboarding, we'll actually see growth happen faster and ultimately secure those renewals. Anyway, it all lines up. But what I want to do is look at this and say, okay, well, what's our objective? What is our strategy relative to specific growth? This is going to be highly dependent on the way that you operate your business and how you structure things. What I want to see is a three-pronged strategy. The three-pronged strategy might be referrals. That may not make sense right now, but referrals are referrals inside the business, referral to other business units inside the organization that you might be working with or you might not be working with that you'd like to work with. So get referrals inside the other functional areas of the business. That might be one piece. The other one might be Testimonials. So success stories that are being shared. What are the things that we do to get those testimonials out of the customer? How are they ultimately sharing their story out with the market? So referrals from within customers, testimonials from inside the base. And then the other one might actually be some very high level of clarity around business impact inside the organizations that we're working with. So this is going to be tough for people who operate success through the lens of support. Support is reactive. We're there, put a hand on our shoulder, help them kind of move through and overcome certain things. Success is proactive. We're looking forward, we're seeing the future, and we're building based on it. So we do some design type stuff. So now the next piece that I want to do, and again, just kind of breaking up backward, what are the 3 things that I can do to help drive referrals? What are the 3 things that I can do to help improve the likelihood that a testimonial is going to happen? What are the 3 things that I can do that are ultimately going to demonstrate that we're driving impact? One of the things that I'm starting to do a bit more with, and I talked a little bit about it yesterday in the context of enablement, for taking a sprint-based approach, having a high level of clarity around sprints, what the objectives are of the sprint, and then being able to communicate, did we or did we not accomplish that objective? And if you design your sprints properly, you should achieve the objective. If you find out that you're not achieving the objective, you may not have designed the sprint properly, or people might have been distracted. What's my point in all of this? It's just 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 modeling all the way across. Ultimately to the point where you get to, what are the specific tasks that need to be done on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis at an account level to get down here? What's the checklist? The checklist that my team uses every day and executes on. And then the checklist I could use to determine, did we actually do the work? If we did, is the work working? If we're missing on the work, why are we missing on the work? What do we need to change? What do we need to adjust? So we work backward for the entire business. We understand our goal from a company perspective, our goal from a functional area perspective, our strategy, our actions. So goal still, actions, strategy, and then tactics. Metrics is how I like to look at this. And this is ultimately your game plan. And you'll see it. It's goals, actions, metrics, drive, execution. Simplify your approach to doing this stuff and building inside your organization. Actually, I'm realizing that I'm a little bit high on the whiteboard, so we'll zoom out just a bit. There you go. Goals, actions, metrics, goal, objective, strategy, tactics. Make sure you're nesting those together. You do that, you'll gain a high level of clarity. You'll be able to deconstruct specific jobs to be done, make sure that you got the right people doing the right jobs in the right order. You'll identify where your risk is. Then you can use things like your CRM to help keep track of a lot of this data. CRM or project management tools, there's a number of different ways that you can go about doing it. If you're looking for help on this kind of stuff, you know a guy. I'm Mike Simmons, I am that guy. This is how you apply the game plan across the business and get more things done in 2026 than you thought was possible. And actually, I think you can do more in the first quarter of 2026 than you thought was possible. And it starts by getting this stuff in place now. Know somebody who would find this useful? Please share it with them. If you have questions, give me a call. You can find your catalyst at findmycatalyst.com.